Right, yo, trade recap from January 3rd. Yeah, so it's a few days late. Yeah, I know, but I took this weekend to kind of just get caught up with all the trades that I wanted to post, just because I just started the channel, and there's not really much excuse. I was kind of out for this weekend, so but now I'm kind of back up to date with this video. So any trades I'll take, I'll be uploading them the same day that I take them, or I'll do my best to get them uploaded the same day, or as soon as I have the opportunity. But it won't be like the same, let's say, like few hours that I take the trade, just because I'm usually in school during that time, and I can't like just whip open the laptop and start recording a video. But it will still be the same day, just be a little bit in the afternoon. Now, with this trade, this was on January 3rd, and this was our news for this day, and there really wasn't much going on with this. There was just, one red, one orange, but there really wasn't much like too impactful. Now, with the actual trade, this was kind of something. I won't say it's something I'm proud of, even though we did catch the dub with a 92 dub. It was a de-risk trade. It was like 0.5%, and it was like, I want to say somewhere close to like 1.8 risk reward. However, there could have been improvements made. Definitely noted that. So let's just get into this real quick. Now, the first thing that I was really looking at, right, January 3rd, was this big sell-off that we had from this day, from the 30th of December all the way until January 2nd. So just in those few days, we had this huge sell-off with this big movement down all the way to down here, from up here to down here. So, like a retracement was really like what I was expecting. And we can see here, we have this imbalance that was formed right here with this sell-off we had, which is actually my fault, where price is going towards right now. And, this could keep dumping if we respect this imbalance, because we're still in our downtrend. But we're not going to get really too deep into the future, just focusing on what the trade was. Now, with this trade, as I was saying, we were expecting some retracement, and that's honestly what we were getting with this, just because, huge sell-off for those few days, and, absolute rejection right here. So we had this, this retracement that was happening. And what I was looking at during this time was this imbalance that was right here. Price was in this imbalance this whole time that I was taking this trade, and for the past few hours. So, my thought was, hey, we're in this imbalance, we're near the top of filling it, and ignoring these two, obviously, because this was what was happening during my trading. Now, we had this imbalance, and you can see right here, there was another imbalance out here that came and got filled, and we kept going up to fill the rest of this imbalance. So my thought was, hey, at the top of this imbalance, we could be seeing a potential reversal anytime soon if we respect this imbalance. But, nothing guaranteed, obviously, because we're not market predictors of what's going to happen 100%. But that was my thought on this retracement, on what was happening. So honestly, just because we were in a retracement, I was looking to take longs, but nothing too long term, just because of how I was saying there was like we're in an imbalance right now, and we're overall still bearish, because we would have to break structure all the way up here to be considered now bullish. However, right, going with this, I was in this retracement that was happening during all this time, and you could see during all this time we had this retracement. We're pretty much just climbing up consistently, and right here, actually, the same hour I took the trade, I actually took long, but the same hour I took this trade, we had this huge sell-off from all the way up here to all the way practically, like the whole size of the imbalance, if we really look at this. The whole size of the imbalance, and just a little bit bigger. But, it closed up and all the way up here again, ended up rejecting, so as of right now, we're still pushing a little bit past. However, when I was looking at this, I was expecting, some type of long. So what I was really looking for was a retracement on a lower time frame to a lower point of liquidity, just so we could get a nice execution, and then just long a little bit on this. So that's what we were really looking at with this whole thing right here. And so really where I was getting like into the action was on the 5 minute time frame, where we could see this was the time that I was looking on market open for New York session. Now with this, we could see we had this imbalance on the 5 minute right here, which was where I wanted my initial trade to be, but I didn't end up taking the initial long that I wanted to take just because I was in school. And then, you know, but how it works, like the reason I say like school kind of messes me up with this is because my class, like one of my classes, my first class actually, like it's ending at the time that I would ideally like to be on market just before like pre-open. Like we have this like from my class ends at 9:15 or 9:17 to be exact, but we have all this time like right here where my class is like ending. So, and then I have my switch in my classes, and then I get to my other class, and then by the time like I'm really settled into my other class, it's like it's about to be 9:30. So, they have like this 30-minute window that's like kind of like iffy to get into market. However, that kind of messes me up. So I actually posted this on my Twitter, and I was actually like kind of bummed out a little bit just because I missed my entry. I was just a few seconds off from the entry that I wanted to take. But anyways, now looking back at this, we had this, like I was saying, just straight retracing to the upside. We had this imbalance that was right here. We had this imbalance on this 5 minute. And if we look, this is actually our point of liquidity on the 1 minute, which we'll see right here. All right, so this is actually the point of liquidity that we ended up looking at for the 1 minute, which was the trade I was going to take. We can see that right here we had this low. If I zoom in a little bit more, we could probably see a little more clearly, but we had this low right here that got swept out by this point right here. And then we had this imbalance that was also from the 5 minute, with this 5 minute imbalance and this 1 minute liquidity. So that was a pretty good sign for me, that we were going to get a at least a little decent long, which is actually pretty decent because the trade I wanted to take was essentially we had this order block right here, right here. And this was our order block. And then, we had a re-entry right here in our order block, and we actually ended up having I can't move this. I move myself. There we go. Okay. So we actually ended up having this. Where is this? Okay. We actually ended up having our price come back into equilibrium after this, because we had our exit of this order block, and we came back into this order block, and then we were in equilibrium right around here. And so, price came back out, and then we had this huge imbalance that was huge imbalance that was created right here. That was this one, and this was essentially where I wanted to take my trade. You can see that this was, let's see, market opened at 9:30, and essentially where I wanted to take my trade was anywhere around 9:36, 9:37. However, my class is kind of messing me up with that. So it kind of is what it is. I'm saying? I essentially wanted to take this trade right here in this imbalance that was created right here, that came right back into equilibrium, right back into the order block, and right back into the fair value gap. So this is essentially like a nice trade that I would have been really, really positive into taking, or just I would have been with the trade, because essentially the position that I had for this was, hey, I was going to set my stop right below this point of liquidity, about right here, and then my entry would have been like somewhere right here. I missed it like just right around here, so that would have been somewhere around my point of entry, and then my point of take profit would have been, okay, can I move this? Okay, my take profit would have been right around this point up here that we had, and we could see on the 5 minute, this kind of moves around a lot. Okay, so we could see on the 5 minute that's where I would have aimed my take profit at, just because that was our next point in liquidity from this sweep on liquidity on the 1 minute, and this order block on the 5 minute. This is our next point of liquidity, so that was going to be our TP. And let me get back to this place right here. Okay. Now, this is why I'm also going to have these posted the same day, just less moving around. So that was ideally what I was going to do with this trade. However, you could see like literally as soon as I like seeing this, like I was like, okay, like making like the last confluence, this trade was taking my trade, and I was like, okay, we're gonna start looking to press buy right here, whatever. And then I just see markets start flying, and I'm like, oh man, like, well, kind of is what it is. I can't. It's just this is like the importance of really being here pre-market, just so you don't have these type of things happen to you. And so yeah, because this would have been a nice risk to reward. But I don't want to like put excuses, but it really was just because of school that I couldn't analyze this earlier. Now, what I ended up taking my trade on though was the thing I was looking at. Right, I was seeing, okay, we have these imbalances formed right here, and so what I was really hoping for was, hey, can we come back and fill these imbalances? And as you can see, holy, we did come back and fill these imbalances. Now, what I was looking at was because, see, we have our order block right here on the 1 minute. However, on the 5 minute, if I could get back to this, okay. However, on the 5 minute, our order block was this whole thing from up here. So this whole thing was our order block from the 5 minute. So essentially, what I was really looking for was, hey, can we hit the TP that I would have wanted for the 1 minute? What's it called? The 1 minute trade. And you can see like also why I would have set the TP right here, just because this is the order block for the 5 minute, which kind of makes sense with it too. But what I started looking at was, hey, we have this order block on the 5 minute that for this same move, the order block was this point right here. So we have price come out of this order block, and we have price absolutely dump right back into these fair value gaps that I wanted to get my position into, which was this imbalance. Right, there was an imbalance right here that actually ended up getting filled. But the imbalance I was really more looking at was the 1 minute imbalance that I had marked out from before. And we can see right here. So we had the 1 minute imbalances that I had marked out from before, which isn't marked out anymore. But the imbalances that I had right here, I was looking to get some type of retracement back into that imbalance or even this imbalance just before we could catch a trade that honestly wouldn't have been as great as the first trade I wanted to take, and would have been a little bit more risky, which it was, just because you could see how violently price is moving at this time. This was around 10, which was around the news at this time. So kind of a risky play. So I could probably just take from that, like, watch out with news, and if it's not the news that you're looking for, like with the news not to trade, this news however, it does have an impact still on the market, as you can see. But we did have a big candle that came right back down to our imbalances. It was actually kind of funny because this trade had the imbalance come back down all the way to like right here, around this area, yeah. And the funny thing is that this candle, I looked away for like 2 seconds, and then we had candle resting all the way up here, and I look away for like 2 seconds because, like I said, I'm in school, so it's kind of like a hindrance to trading, being in school with this, at least for me, because it's kind of like distracting. Because I was in my class, and then one of my peers was talking to me like about something, like they were giving me some type of schoolwork or whatever, and then I look over for like 2 seconds because I'm kind of saying like, yo, like I'm kind of like looking at this right now, like whatever. I look over, and then we have our candle all the way back down here, and so I say, okay, we have into this imbalance, we're actually like a little bit tiny bit below it, and we have this imbalance right here. I'm like, yo, this is a huge candle down. If we close right here, then obviously it's cooked. Like I wasn't gonna go for any type of long, but we saw price starting to reject slowly right here, boom, 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 boom. And so at this point, I was like, okay, price is rejecting like the downside completely. It's like, yo, not yet, right? So we hop into this position right here, just because we're still in this imbalance right here, and we filled both of these imbalances, but we hop in right here, but we end up getting filled like right around here. So we are in this position, and then, like I said, we end up rejecting this, and then we have this big candle just come back down, just like I was saying from the 5 minute. This was the order block that was formed on the 5 minute, and then we came down onto this, which was my thought. As you can see, this wouldn't have been a very profitable trade to take on the 5 minute time frame. Just like thinking about it, like, oh, this is the 5 minute order block. This would have been a very nice trade, because we went out of the order block, we came back in, and then there was never coming back out. But on the 1 minute, we were able to catch this. Well, our original play would have been a much safer and much more de-risky trade. This was a high risk trade, which I honestly am not proud of, and probably will try to never take again because, yeah, not good. So what was happening? I took into this trade, and then we had these big candles, and we kept just we were coming back to retest this imbalance, and then we had our movement starting to go back up. So at this point, I'm like, okay, and then we had set our TP. See, this was the high that we had made previous to this, and so set my TP just a little bit. This was the high that we had made just a little bit before this, so I wanted to just set my take profit just a little bit below the high that we made before this, just so we don't. It was a high risk trade, so I just wanted to be sure I would be getting at least somewhere close to my TP, just so I didn't have like one of those instances where it's like TP, it's like boom and then it's boom. So yeah, just because of those high risk. So I also de-risked on this. You can see it was like 1.79. I'm not sure if it was exactly that, but it was somewhere around there, and we de-risked to 0.5% just because of we had like super high volatility with this, and honestly it was not a probable trade condition. So I would honestly say this isn't like a valid trade. This is not a trade. What I'm trying to say that you look at and say, I'm going to take from this to learn from it. I would say more that would be more like the other trade that I posted, the first one from the second. This trade, however, not a very nice trade that I was really proud of. I ended up like taking my take profit, but it wasn't really one that I was like, hey, okay, the work was done for today. It was really bad. Imagine you get into this trade and this is like the candles you're working with. Pretty scary. My best, to not put the motion into it, but they were kind of creeping up a little bit just because of how prices moving, like with these big candles. But we stuck through it, and we ended up coming over here, and then we rejected this downside like a lot with this doji, so that kind of just calmed me down a little bit too. And then after that, we had our TP hit, and then huge rejections to the upside with this. And just as we close out of this long, lo and behold, the imbalance that I was talking about from the high time frames, with this huge dump, huge dump. So that was a good spot to mark our TP at. Yeah, so that was pretty much the trade for this. However, like I was saying, now that we're looking at this, later, we can see that price is actually still moving a little bit more higher. So it doesn't matter, but we ended up still getting onto this. So essentially, that was just the trade we took for this day. But like I said, got this huge dump right after it. So it was a pretty high risk trade, and it's not really a trade that I would say you should take. What could I have done to improve this? That I think I could have done is, first of all, be a little bit earlier to the market. Like I gotta find some type of way to be earlier, just so I don't miss out on the plays that I want to take. Because I could have caught my other trade, which was a 3 risk to reward, and would have been a much safer trade to take with, instead of 0.5, it would have been more likely 1%. And yeah, so I could just work on that, and just being earlier to market. Now, another thing too is not take these type of trades where like I'm just FOMOing basically. So that's just that. But there's really more to learn from in trading. So that's kind of all I just have with this, and now we should be caught back up to date with our trades. So next trade will get uploaded to the same day. Just like I said, a little bit later. Yeah, essentially how not to trade. So no goodies, but I'll see y'all hopefully soon. It's almost Monday, but I haven't really checked how the news is and everything with that. But yeah, I'll see y'all boys.